It's Tuesday, and we've got a very special guest. And, of course, I say that so often, but tonight it's really, really special. Eileen Cohen, 100K, member of the $1 Million Club. And what makes this so special is not only this lady a special lady, a graduate of the University of Arizona, married to the same guy for 46 years. Of course, she, like me, got married when she was 2 years old. She has 3 fabulous kids and 3 magnificent grandchildren, and just one of the hardest workers there is in the networking world. But what makes Eileen so special is not only how she values every member of her team, but most people may know that Eileen's responsible for getting me back into network marketing. And, you know, it's interesting. Holly and I were just on a three-way, and I think it's just about 20 years ago this fall, Eileen, that we met in that little restaurant in Scottsdale. And I had been given the name of Eileen by someone on literally on a yellow 3x5 card. And they said, when I moved to Phoenix, you got to call this lady. You have the same last name. You're going to love her. And with meeting Eileen, she made me realize that the vehicle of network marketing in this profession would be the ultimate for us to get our life back by helping other people. So we're so delighted to have Eileen on the call, and of course I'm forever indebted for her convincing me to come back in the industry when I promised my husband with threat of divorce that I would never, ever, ever, ever do network marketing again after I convinced him to buy $8,000 worth of water filters that we put in all the pharmacies that we had to have Goodwill come and take away. So without further ado, Eileen's going to give you some insights as what it takes to build a multi-million-dollar business. So over to you, Eileen. Delighted to have you on the call.
Oh, thank you so much, Sandy, for your kind introduction, and I'm so glad that we're such great friends, and that I brought you back into the industry, and you brought me into XANGO. So, you know, it's just fitting, isn't it? And I really, really appreciate you and Collie and Eddie for everything that you do for this whole team, and what you know, it's just amazing. So you're all amazing. So thank you so much for that, and I appreciate you having me on this call. So I don't really have a PowerPoint, just my picture up there so you can see. So what I'm going to do is a little bit different. I'm going to try to make the call a little bit interactive. So even if you're driving, you don't have to raise your hand or anything like that. But if you're driving or if you're on the phone and listening, just, you know, participate as if you were in a meeting, okay? Since I don't have a PowerPoint, that's the best thing I can do. So how many of you on this call want to earn some additional income? If you do, say yes. Okay, how many on this call not only want to earn additional income, but also want to earn a 6-figure income and have the lifestyle of your dreams? Yell it out, yes. How many of you want to have a $1 million business? Yes. That's how I felt. So, if you want a $1 million business, you have to believe that you can have it. So first of all, I want to thank everybody for listening to this call and taking time out of your busy day. And of course, Sandy, Eddie, and Collie, again, for inviting me on this call so I can share this with you. So before we get started, I want to share my story with you, if that's okay. I've lived with money, I've lived without money, and I truly like to live with money a whole lot better. And with money, you can choose which restaurant you want to eat at. You don't have to worry about the cost. You can order what you want from the left side of the menu and not have to worry about the right side of the menu where the cost is. You can choose the vacation where you want to go for as long as you want to go and with whom you want to go. You can have your dream lifestyle with money. So in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to share with you how you can create a residual income, money coming in month after month, year after year, and never have to worry about money again. So ladies and gentlemen, you cannot build a $1 million business sitting on a couch. Does that make sense? Sitting on a couch. So if it's all right, I'm going to begin my story. Back in the 1970s, my husband and I built custom homes, and he would hire the builders and the contract laborers, and I worked with the architects to design the homes and picked out the tiles, granite, paint colors, etc., and we did very well. Then my husband tied up with a builder, and I had a great life. I was a stay-at-home mom. The kids were in private school. I was a member of La Consta Country Club. I played tennis. I had a live-in maid. Life was wonderful. And then things happened. My husband would put papers in front of me and I would sign them, but I didn't pay attention to the papers because I was accustomed to signing papers to sell homes, buy lots, etc. He was handling the money and he was wheeling and dealing. And then in 1982, interest rates went to 13%, construction loans went to 24%, and my husband was building a 36-unit apartment building with $1 million loan. It went from 13% to 24%. My husband started getting very nervous and anxious, and one day he said we were going to lose everything, including my beautiful home that I designed with an architect for our family. He said our home was going into foreclosure, and we were going bankrupt. He overextended. Interest rates were at an all-time high, and nothing was selling. I was in shock. I was devastated. I couldn't believe what was happening. The rug was pulled out from under us. How could this happen? It was a nightmare. I trusted him, and I didn't see it coming. Didn't see it coming. The next day, I knew I had to take action. It took me that night when I was furious. I couldn't think straight. But the next day, I realized I had to do something. So I put an ad in the paper, and I told them to take the kids out on a Sunday, and I was going to sell the house. Now, nothing was selling. He said it was impossible. But I believe that everything is possible and that we're going to get out of this financial nightmare because I didn't want to lose my home in foreclosure. And his forecast, along with us going bankrupt, was not an option in my mind. So I sold the home that Sunday to the only people who looked at it. Full price, $495,000 in 1982. So give me an idea, that would be about a $2 million home today. We had to move into a rental. It was disgraced. Our lifestyle was gone, totally gone. Then he got involved with a California builder who was building a large apartment complexes in San Antonio, Texas, and wanted my husband to build satellite cable systems for him and run them in San Antonio. He lent us some money to do that. We had an operations manager running it, so we wouldn't have to move to Texas. And imagine this. We get up one day and all the phones were ringing off the hook. People were irate. There was a cable outage in San Antonio, Texas, and the operations manager was not there. Was not there. He quit. He just disappeared. He disappeared. So we had to move to San Antonio, Texas, uproot 2 teenagers between semesters in high school. Very difficult for them to leave. They were angry. And one in elementary school. And this was devastating for all of us. But we did what we had to do. My husband couldn't take the pressure, became ill, and I had to run the business. So after 2 years of living in San Antonio, we were able to sell the business, and we struggled financially. Moved to Phoenix, where our son was going to go to the University of Arizona, and we could save out-of-state tuition. Imagine this. You think things couldn't get worse. After we moved, I was diagnosed with melanoma cancer. Melanoma cancer is a skin cancer that travels quickly, and after surgery, the surgeon told me that I was lucky to be alive. Alive. And I didn't even know anything was wrong. I didn't even have a headache. I happened to be going to an optometrist to have new contact lenses checked when he saw a mark on my leg and insisted I had to check it out immediately. He called me after my surgery and said his aunt had passed away from melanoma cancer that looked exactly the same as mine in the same place just 1 month before. He saved my life. So we think we're healthy, but we really don't know. We can't see what's happening in our bodies. And I was in my 40s, my early 40s. Then I found out I had a 24-year-old cousin that died of melanoma cancer. So if you're not healthy, money doesn't matter and age doesn't matter. So at that time, I decided to look into nutritional products and a way to make residual income. I thought I was healthy, but how did I get cancer? I found out all types of cancer ran in my family. So what can I do to protect myself and my family? I answered an ad that Carly Butler put in the paper. And they painted a picture of residual income with a company that had health products. So I was looking for money, a way to make money, and I was looking for good health products. It makes sense. So I understood this crazy compensation plan that they had, and I loved the idea of a residual income opportunity and the products. So they asked me if I could walk across the stage and pick up a large check, and I said, well, absolutely. And I held that picture in my mind for years. So, Carly was the one that got me into this network marketing company, into network marketing about 20 years ago. It's amazing, 20 years ago. Gosh, Carly, Sandy, 20 years ago. Unfortunately, the company failed, and I continued to look for the right company. I went through several, and I wasn't very successful. And then one day I received a call from Sandy, as you heard her tell, and we became great friends. And she has, and you know her story, she has a riches to rags and back to riches story. But when I met Sandy, she was driving a 9-year-old car without air conditioning in Phoenix and sharing the car with her husband. And she told me her story, and I knew the only way she could get her life back was to be in network marketing. So for all of you listening to this, if you're in that situation, just think about network marketing, and XANGO can give you hope as long as you believe that you can do this. You have to believe in order to achieve. And I was a total believer of the industry, and I knew we could all get our lifestyle back. And so, imagine this. I found a company with excellent health products, and I brought Carly Butler and Sandy Cohen both frontline to me. Can you imagine? Now they're both 500K premiers in XANGO, and I had them both frontline to me, and I thought I was doing great. I would have been if it was XANGO, but all network marketing companies are not the same. The products were great, but the compensation plan was very difficult to achieve the income that all of us wanted. And so they left for another company where they could make more money. And I didn't follow them. I went to their meetings, met the founders, asked the hard questions. I didn't like the answers. I felt the owners were really out for themselves, and at some point in time, they would make changes that would benefit them and could hurt the distributors. Now, this will never happen in XANGO. In XANGO, our founders are concerned about the distributors more so than themselves. Each and every one of them have caring hearts. So I gave up the industry while I saw them make significant incomes. My intuition wouldn't allow me to build that business. But Sandy and Carly never quit. Never quit. And they stayed in the industry. And look where they are today, 500K premiers. So what I thought would happen happened. And the company changed their compensation plan, and everyone's checks plummeted in that company. And they were all looking for a new home. They researched hundreds. Anyway, fast forward to 2002. I received a call from Sandy when she found XANGO. And I asked her all the hard questions. And she had all the right answers. So, Sandy, I'm all indebted to you for sharing this with me. See how it goes? I asked about the product, and all XANGO had was the juice at the time. But when she told me about the amazing science behind it, I thought, well, if the rest doesn't sound good, I'll be a customer. But she told me about the incredible 6 founders and the hard questions she asked. I was impressed. And I'm a numbers cruncher, so I wanted to see if I could really make some income. I was blown away. I knew in my heart this was for me. I knew I could replace my real estate income with XANGO. I made a decision. Right then and there, I signed up. My heart was all in. I envisioned getting the life I once knew back. But I had a challenge. Challenge was called Herb, my husband. Like Sandy, I promised my husband I would never do any network marketing company again. And when I told him I joined, he was very angry, to be mild about it. If you were in 3 blocks of my home, you would have heard him screaming at me. I had gone into general real estate. I was earning a nice 6-figure income, but I worked evenings, weekends, during the days, finding homes, doing inspections. And oh yes, this was before we had the GPS systems, and I have no sense of direction. So I used to tell my clients that we'll probably get lost, but I'll be the best agent and negotiate the best deal. I never lost a client, but it was so frustrating for me. I was ready to listen to Sandy. She told me about this incredible juice product, and I said, that's great. I can support you by purchasing the juice, but if I can't replace my 6-figure income, I can't get involved with the business. But when she told me and she showed me the compensation plan, I jumped in, and here were her magic words to me, and I'm going to tell you these magic words for you. She said to me, this is the last business you'll ever have to build, and I was excited. At this time, my husband had gone to the doctor and was told he was a walking time bomb. His cholesterol and blood pressure were high, as well as his triglycerides. I told him to take the juice for 3 months, and let's see what the doctor says after that. He agreed to do that versus the medication the doctor wanted him to take. Well, we started calling the juice magic juice because all his numbers went into the normal range, and he loved the taste. Yay, we had a winner. The juice was a winner, but he still didn't want me to do the business. He wanted me to go stay in the real estate, and I never lost a client. But I remember all that frustration, Then my little 2.5-year-old granddaughter had chronic ear infections, and the doctor continued giving her antibiotics. When she'd finished the drug, she'd get another ear infection. And the doctor was ready to put tubes in her ears, but I said, let's see if the juice can help her. She loved the taste, as we all do, and in 2 days, her ears were completely clear, and she never had another ear infection. So I knew that between my husband and my granddaughter, we had something very special here, and I set my sail to reach my goals. And while my children, my grandchildren, got on the juice, I was a believer, and I made them all believers as well, even though they didn't want me to build the business. They all believed in our magic juice and started drinking the juice. And then all these more stories started piling in. But the business was different. When my small checks came, my husband laughed at me. The daggers flew. I don't know if any of you can relate to that, where you live with somebody that are not necessarily on the same page as you are. But I knew where I was going. I had made a decision. Here's the key word, folks, decision. I made a decision. The daggers flew. I put up a shield and just went for it. Sometimes we have to go with our instincts and let the naysayers be. We just have to do that. But it's truly amazing that when the checks got bigger, the business was magically our business. So when I first started, my husband said I wasn't allowed to speak with friends, family, neighbors, or anyone we met about the business. So I started with leads and advertising, anyone I could talk to when my husband wasn't around. This process takes longer to build your business. Now my husband is totally on board. He even talks to people about the products and income opportunity. But the bottom line is, why wouldn't you share it with people you care about, people that you can make a difference in their lives, health-wise, financially? It's so important to share it with the people that you care about, people that love you, people that you love. Well, since then we've moved back to Phoenix. and we now live a lifestyle that most people dream about. So it was worth going through the problems excuse me, of living with somebody who didn't believe in what became my passion. And in order to succeed and reach high levels of achievement, you must first make a decision. So everybody, make a decision. In fact, let's say the word decision. I want to count to 3 and yell it out. 1, 2, 3. Decision! Make a decision. You must believe that you can achieve the results you are wanting. But that decision is so important. In fact, I want you to think about this too when you're thinking of with decision and commitment. Decision and commitment. If you don't make a decision and you say, I'm just going to try the business, I'm going to try and see if it works, you're not going to be successful. So those of you that have jobs, think about this for a moment. What if your boss said, I'm going to try to pay you your paycheck. I'm going to try to pay you your paycheck. Wow. I gather you wouldn't want to stay in that job for very long, right? So when we're working with people, we want to find people who make a decision, who make a commitment. That's the first step in being successful. The very first step in being successful. And when you're thinking about what you want, I want you to change the word from want to require. So in order for you to achieve the results, you require to achieve your goals. You don't want to achieve them. You require to achieve your goals. So in my situation, I required to replace my 6-figure income and be out of real estate. And that's what I did. I required it. I made a decision. I was committed. And that's what I did. So my first year we were living in California, and the real estate market was great. I worked my XANGO business in between clients, and I spoke to everyone I could, as long as my husband wasn't around, of course. The next year, we moved to Phoenix to be close to my oldest daughter who had just given birth to her second child. I wanted to be close to my grandchildren. So I made a decision to not get my real estate license in Phoenix and go full-time XANGO. My 2 older children thought I was crazy. My youngest daughter, Pam, said I should follow my dreams. She was my only support. My husband was upset because he wanted me to stay in real estate. But you know what? You have to go with your decision. That commitment, that's what's going to change your life. Most people live from paycheck to paycheck. Some can't even do that. 96% of people don't have enough money to live the lifestyle that they'd like to live. Most people don't have enough money to retire. Well, let me tell you a little bit about my lifestyle. My lifestyle, because I made a decision and a commitment. It's hot here in the summer in Phoenix, and last year we spent 8 weeks in Hawaii. I took my laptop, my cell phone, and I worked from the beach when I wanted to work. 2 summers ago, we took our family and children, grandchildren, all 9 of us, and I paid for everyone to go on a 7-day Alaskan cruise. What memories for all of us. It was a fabulous family trip. This year, we spent a week in Mexico with our 9-year-old grandson. And then next week, we're looking forward to going to California and getting out of this heat for 4 weeks. And we're also going to look for a second home that we've got to get out of this heat. It's just too much. But that's the nice part of having money, because you can pick and choose where you want to be, where you want to live, and where you want to vacation. In January of this coming year, we have booked a 35-day cruise to Australia, New Zealand, and Bali, Indonesia on the Celebrity Cruise Ship, balcony concierge class, the best of the best. But we can never live this lifestyle if I was in real estate. I would still be working because there isn't any residual income. So as Joe Morton says, it's safe to dream again. You know, if Sandy would have told me that I would be able to have this lifestyle I would question it. But what she said was, it would be the last business I would ever build. So if these dreams are too far off for you, dream what you can believe in. Dream what you can believe in. You can go beyond that, and you can continue going beyond. Have the end in mind, and then you can always raise that goal. And I never knew that I could have a lifestyle like this, because in real estate I couldn't have it. All I was wanting to do was replace my income. But it changed our lives. And you can do that in this business. But the real key is you must make a decision. You must make a commitment. You need to be focused. Don't take your eye off that target. Don't take your eye off your goals. You need to be focused. You need to be disciplined, because life will get in the way. You need to be disciplined. Some of you know this, but I just broke my wrist. I was playing tennis, and I slipped on the court. I wasn't running and lost my balance. I actually slipped on the court, and I broke my wrist, and I was in a cast for 5.5 weeks, and now I'm going to physical therapy. I couldn't type. If I had a regular job, and this wasn't an injury on the job, if I had a regular job, either I'd be fired or I'd be, I don't know, maybe they would give me some kind of a leave of absence, but I certainly wouldn't be making any money from it because it wasn't job related. So can you imagine a 6-figure income with XANGO and then not be able to collect any money? Or being this is one of those accidents that happen, but I didn't have to worry about it because my check keeps coming in, even though I can only type with one hand. I'm right-handed. Thank God with my left hand. But the bottom line is, what would happen if that happened to you? What happened? What happened? It's a scary thought, isn't it? It's really a scary thought. So you need to be disciplined, because life will get in the way. So although XANGO is only a $35 investment to become a distributor, think of it as if you invested $100,000 in your business and treat it that way. Because if you treat your business that way, you won't quit if you had a bad day, a bad week, or even a bad month. You would never quit. You have too much at risk. We really have $1 million business here. So even though you're getting in for $35 and some product, think about it as $1 million business. Why would you quit $1 million business? So stay committed and consistent. Stay committed and consistent. Don't give up when things are rough. You do what you have to do. So like when you're a baby and you're learning to walk and you fall down until you stand up again. You fall down until you're able to run. So you don't see adults crawling, right? You have to have that same attitude. You have to be able to continue and continue and continue. You have to persist. Never, never quit. You have to have persistence. Never, never quit, and you will succeed. This is a 2 to 5 year business plan. So think of all the years you've been working. What do you have? What if you lost your job? How fast would you go through your savings? How many years will you need to work to live the lifestyle of your dreams, if that could ever happen? Could it ever happen with what you're doing now? Think about it. But if you put consistent effort and you follow the trainings and you build your XANGO business and you never quit, you will succeed. So the key is to make a decision. Make a decision. Go back on your decision. Make a decision. You need to meet new people. You need to get skilled. You need some education. You need to go to the trainings. If you're in real estate, a doctor, a lawyer, you must invest in ongoing professional education courses. So here, being on webinars, being on phones, having conference calls, you do whatever it takes. You do whatever it takes. The world is changing. The world is changing. I'm taking courses now learning about Facebook, and I had a coach to help me with professional speaking. So if you're new to sales, there's so much information out there to help you. And, of course, the 3-way calling tool. You just need to ask your upline your successful upline for help. Be coachable. Build your skills. Focus. Know where you're going. And the most important is having burning desire to change. And I mean a burning desire to change because life gets in the way. It does. Attend all XANGO company events and functions, and this isn't an option. You must do this. And the fastest way to build a business is to invite your friends to join you and have fun together. This is how you can be successful and build your own $1 million XANGO business in 5 years or less. So make your decision to be successful, and you can have a dream lifestyle. So, Collie, I really appreciate, Collie, Sandy, and Eddie, I really appreciate you having me on the call. And please, all of you, get back to the person who invited you to this call and thank them, because this call, any of these calls, could change your life. So, Collie, back to you.
Thank you, Eileen, so much. What a powerful and incredible presentation that you gave us this evening. And, you know, I love doing these weekly calls because every week we get to hear from somebody else and somebody else's story and how and why they came in. But, wow, you are absolutely a $1 million woman, and I am thrilled that I was the one that introduced you to this industry. So,
absolutely.
It's incredible. And you know what?
Thank you so much for that, Collie, by the way. I'm totally indebted to you for that.
You know what? And that's exactly what you said is so right, because you're indebted to me and you're thanking me now, but boy, your husband didn't thank me. And I remember the times when I would call you to try to talk to you, and sometimes he would answer the phone and he would tell me to never, ever call that house again. But you know what? I think you had some of the biggest hurdles of anyone that I've ever seen. I hear people make excuses all the time about the reasons why they can't and why it's so hard and they're ready to quit. And I just point them to you and I say there is nobody that I've in the 23 years I've been in this industry, there is nobody that had a bigger dream, a bigger why, and a bigger determination to go over the biggest hurdles than you. And you have deserved every penny you have ever earned, and it's all because no matter what came in your way, no matter what challenges and what hurdles faced you, you never, ever gave up. And I am so thrilled that you had joined the $1 Million Club and are, it's wonderful. And so, folks, get back to the person who invited you here. We all have great, big reasons why it's hard, why we are ready to quit, and why life is just so difficult, and why we just don't even know or think we can go on. And you know what? Every one of us have them. So get back to the person who invited you. Thank him. Ask him for more information. Join us on future calls. Meet other leaders. Hear more stories. Find out how people have overcome it, and you're going to find out XANGO's products are amazing. Their compensation is incredible. 100 millionaires in less than 10 years. We've got the vehicle. We've got the tools. We've got the resources. We've got the calls. We've got everything that you need to be successful. And all you have to do is make that decision that Eileen talked about today and stick with it until you reach your destination. And we will be with you every step of the journey. Thanks, everybody. Good night, and thanks for joining us on the call.